All right. I'm going to give it just a few more seconds. Go until about 3:05 and get started. All right, gonna start at 3:05. No, it says 3 o'clock, but give a few more minutes. All right, it is 3:05, so I'm gonna go right ahead and get started, and people can catch this on the replay when I post it after the fact. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is Peace and Power After Divorce. And this is the roadmap for healing and financial stability. My name is Kiosha Howard. I'm going to get right into an overview of what we're going to be talking about today. First of all, is going to be the true impact of divorce, why divorce is so traumatic, and how to heal your heart. Also going to be talking about practicing peace, how to cultivate a peaceful lifestyle no matter the circumstances. And finally, the power of preparation. This is where we're going to discuss how to manage your money so that you have less stress. My name is Kiosha. And I'm a financial coach, which just means that I work with people on their personal finances. And specifically, I have a passion and a heart for women who are separated or divorced. And that comes from my own experience. I was married for about 10 years and got a divorce in 2020. So I've been divorced for 4 years now. And at the time that I got my divorce, I had $80,000 in debt. Most of that came from student loans. And over the course of 3 years, I was able to become completely debt free. And so that came about as part of the process of what I'm going to share with you guys on today. But really, it was applying some biblical wisdom to my personal finances, being very intentional about my healing journey, and just getting after it, and really allowing the Lord into the process. And so I'm very excited to share this with you guys because, it really just helped set me free. And I really hope that this information is able to help you as well. So the true impact of divorce, we live in a society that kind of normalizes divorce. We are at a place where it's like everything is, well, you get married, you get a divorce, it's okay. You get married two times, 3 times, 4 times, and you just get a divorce. It's like this thing that's just, you do it almost without thinking about it. You don't like the way the other person dresses anymore? Okay, get a divorce. You don't like the way she does her hair? Okay, get a divorce. And it's just not that simple, because the reality is that there is a big impact on us when we go through divorce. Divorce is actually traumatic. When we look at the biblical design for marriage, it is to bring two people together and for those two people to become one flesh, the Bible says, right? And so when you tear that apart, it is nearly impossible to walk away unscathed. Both parties are going to have scars and bruises and pieces of them that are just ripped apart. And so we can't just kind of glaze over this as if it's just this thing we can do and just move on past. No, we have to be very intentional about understanding the truth and the reality of what divorce really means to us as individuals. It really is a death. A death has occurred that requires grieving, that requires a level of healing, and attention that just is not something that we can overlook, right? And with that comes a lot of emotions, a lot of heavy emotions. You have anger, resentment, grief, anxiety, and so many other emotions that happen during the separation and divorce process. But then those things don't stop just because the judge signs off. Sometimes those things are even heightened after you get that final divorce decree. And so again, we just have to be aware of those things and not try to glaze over those facts. And we also have to recognize that for those of us who've experienced infidelity or abuse, it could be as severe as post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD that we experience in those instances as well. And Margaret Atwood had this to say. She says, "A divorce is like an amputation. You survive it, but there is less of you." Wow. It is like an amputation. You don't cut off an arm or a leg and just walk out of a hospital ready to go, right? It's a healing process. It takes time, it takes attention, and dedication to what it means to be living now with this surgery, with this part of you that has been removed. And that can leave us feeling empty. This picture is actually my daughter playing in our apartment after we moved out of our home. When I was married to her dad, we had a house, and one of the hardest decisions I decided to make was to move out of the house and instead get an apartment. And when I got the apartment, the only furniture I brought was my daughter's room. You can actually see her little table in the background. The only thing I brought was her bedroom set, which was her bed, some like the side table like that, a little vanity that she had, like just the things that could bring her comfort in her space. But other than that, the apartment was empty. And in many ways, it it motivated me because I had a blank slate, but it also was empty, you know? And as I continued to work and purchase the things that we needed for our apartment, you know, I did get a bedroom set, I did get living room furniture and dining room table and all those things, right? But then I realized I was purchasing things to numb the pain, purchasing things to fill an empty void. That I personally didn't have an income problem. I had a behavior problem. I was buying to mask the pain, buying to mask the anger, buying, even when I'm honest, to kind of jab at my ex, that when he comes here to pick up our daughter, he's going to see how well I'm doing. He's going to see that I don't need him, that I can do bad all by myself, right? All these unhealthy things that we say. And when I moved, I was empowered. I was like, yes, I got this. I'm gone. I'm doing this thing, right? But the reality was, as empowered as I was also hurting. And I was also in a very, very emotionally drained place. And I was trying to heal through things when that's not what I needed and was not healthy for me at all. And so I had some work to do. But I found this quote, and I thought this was a really good way to put it. A quote by Richard Wagner, and it says, "Divorce is one of the most financially traumatic things you can go through. Money spent on getting mad or getting even is wasted money." And I wasted a lot of money. I wasted a lot of money because I was mad, and I wasted a lot of money because I wanted the validation of someone to prove, right, and to get even with them. And it's for nothing. It's for nothing. And so I learned to practice peace. And so we're going to move right into that and talk about what it means to practice peace, how to cultivate a peaceful lifestyle, no matter the circumstances. Right. And so peace is not something that we need to be looking for in times of trouble, right? Sometimes we get in a situation, it's like, Lord, I just need peace. Okay. Peace is a lifestyle. Peace is something that we should be going after and walking in on a daily basis. It is a gift from God. And so when I talk about cultivating a spiritual lifestyle, that's exactly what it is. It is being able to have and maintain and walk in our peace each and every day, right? And so what are some ways to cultivate a peaceful lifestyle? First of all, spiritual healing. After a divorce, we need healing, and that healing cannot come from all these external forces alone, right? We need healing from our Lord and Savior. We need healing in our hearts that is going to help us to learn and to grow and to really settle into what it means to have peace. And the Bible teaches us about what it means to have peace. It teaches us that number one, peace is a gift from God, right? Jesus says, "My peace I give to you." He's giving it to us as his gift. And also he tells us that we're going to have trouble in this world. And so we know that there's going to be trouble, but he says, "Take heart, for I have overcome the world," which lets us know right off the top that we need to have that peace whether there's trouble or not. And that's not something that you just randomly come up with. That's something that is cultivated from within you through your relationship with God. Next is soul work, right? There's your mind and your emotions that need to be healed and need to be seen. You need to look at those things. What is my mindset? Do I have a victim mentality? Am I in a place where I can't get past the fact that this person did this thing to me, right? Are there emotional issues lingering that are kind of out of whack? There's a level of anger that is normal, right? But are you angry to the point where you about to go do something to that person? Or are you just angry enough to say, this is really upsetting me and I can work through it in a healthy way, right? And so getting into what is my soul feeling? What is my soul saying? Where really am I when I look at everything that's going on around me and how I'm handling it internally? And then self-care. And for me, that is really everything else, right? And so on the physical side, am I taking care of myself? Am I eating well? Am I exercising or walking or just making time for myself, making time for rest and recreation, doing things that I enjoy? Those are the types of things that are going to help you cultivate a life of peace. Right. And so now the power of preparation. And this is my favorite part because it's just like, yes, let's talk about how to get our money right. Let's talk about how we are going to manage our money well so that we can build from the place of divorce. So, how to manage your money with less stress. Because that's the key here is that after a divorce, there's so much going on with inside of us. There's so much that we are dealing with and that's happening within us that it can be difficult to talk about finances at this point, right? Like, think about that. You just got your arm cut off. And now I'm basically saying, take a math test, basically saying, let's do a budget together. It's like, no, I need to heal first, right? But unfortunately, our financial obligations don't stop because we're going through a traumatizing situation. And so I have some tips on how to make things more manageable and less stressful for you while you are navigating the landscape of what it means to either go through a divorce or after a divorce. So here are my thoughts. One, simplify. And specifically here, I'm talking about your budget. Simplify your budget by focusing on your basic needs. After a divorce is not the time to go trying to like make a bunch of huge financial decisions and just change your whole life in a day. Absolutely not. After a divorce, you need to be focusing on the things that are the necessary requirements for your basic lifestyle. And that is like your housing costs, your food, your clothing, your transportation, and making sure that you're paying the minimums on any of your debts. You do want to, as much as possible, stay current on all of your debts. But aside from your basic needs, you really don't want to be spending a lot of money on various things that you don't really have the need for. And you certainly don't want to be making a lot of large purchases or big financial decisions. Like after a divorce, I wouldn't say go buy a house. You know what I mean? If you decided to keep the house, I wouldn't say now, do a refinance so you can update your bathroom. Like, no, just chill on the major financial decisions for a season so you can make sure that the purchases you're making are wise purchases and are not purchases that are being made from an unhealed or unhealthy place. I actually have a money to-do list. It is a free download for you that is basically a simplified version of a monthly budget. It highlights the areas that we're talking about now, those basic needs and those debts that we want to make sure that we stay current on. But it does not take you down the rabbit hole of all these major things that you want to do just yet. Just something to get you started so that you can make sure you're taking care of your needs. And so the link for that form is in the chat, so you can click that and go ahead and get that form for yourself to help you move forward as you look into managing your finances. Next up is save. All right. Anything that you have, any money over your basic needs and the minimum on your debts, we want to just save that money. Save as much as you can. Because as you continue to heal, you're also building up your reserves so that once you do reach that place where you have a level of healing where you can make those decisions about, you know what, I think I want to upgrade my sunroom. And you know that you're doing that from a healthy place. You've already got the money on the side to do that, right? And so saving anything over your basic needs is going to help you in the long run, because when you get there, you're going to have some money ready for you to move forward in those next steps that you want to take. The next thing, and this is super important, is safeguard your children by securing life insurance for yourself and making sure that you have a will. If you already had life insurance in place, you want to make sure that you're going in and you're updating your beneficiary on that, right? 9 times out of 10, your spouse or your ex-spouse was the beneficiary on your life insurance policy. You want to make sure that you update that so that it goes to your children, or it goes to your church, or it goes to your siblings, or however you want to distribute those funds. You want to make sure that that's correctly identified within your life insurance policy. And you also want to make sure, again, that any will that you have is clear as to who gets what, and not only what they get, but when and how they get it. For instance, if you have children, you may not want to give, your 10-year-old $100,000. You may want to say, their dad is to use a portion of that for them, or to get a portion of that for them every year until they turn 18. And then when they turn 18, they get a larger chunk of money to help them start their life. However you choose to do that, just make sure that you have that spelled out clearly, because if you don't, it will be decided for you. And that does not help your children in case the unfortunate happens, right? So make sure you're taking care of those things. And next, systemize your finances. Systemize your finances simply means put some systems in place so that you can take something off of your plate. If you're anything like me, when you're overwhelmed, when you're stressed, when you just have a lot going on in life, it can be easy to forget something. It can be easy to let things slip through the cracks. And so setting up systems such as automating your bill pay, right? Automating your savings. This helps to ensure that those things don't, get looked over accidentally. And then either you have a really big bill now because you've missed a month or two of paying, or something gets cut off because you have neglected to pay it. You want to kind of get those things in place that are going to help you. If you're not an automatic bill pay type of person, then maybe you consider actually marking your calendar for this is payday, and I'm also going to pay my bills on this day. Maybe you give yourself a schedule or put a reminder in your phone to let you know, hey, you need to make sure that you pay your bills on this day. Hey, you need to check your account because this is supposed to be payday, and you need to make sure you've gotten X amount of money in your account as you're expecting, right? And the other thing to think about is sinking funds. I love a sinking fund. A sinking fund is simply a separate savings account, or you could even do an envelope system, but it's basically where you set aside funds separately for a particular purchase in the future, right? And so a good example of this is clothes. I don't purchase clothes every month. I purchase clothes maybe once a quarter or as events come up. And so instead of at one time taking, $300 of my income to do a big clothes purchase, I will set aside $50 to $100 a month, so that then when it's time to go out and purchase clothes, I already have that money on hand and don't have to dip into my income for the month to take care of those purchases. And then there's setting goals. Setting goals is an amazing strategy for financial planning because it really helps to keep you on target and on track with what you want to do. When we don't set goals, we just kind of fly by the seat of our pants, and then we end up achieving nothing, right? And so at the stage where you're early in your divorce or just coming out of your divorce, you really want to try to set goals that are shorter and smaller. You don't want to try to go too big or too pie in the sky. We're not thinking 10 years down the road. At this point, we're just focused on the survival and focus on what are the things that I need to do to slowly build, right? And so at this point, I'm not even encouraging you to try to reach these goals. I'm just encouraging you to start thinking and praying about them and writing them down so that when you do get to that healthy place, you're able to open up whatever notebook you're writing your goals down in and look at that thing and say, okay, well, I'd set that goal when I don't really need to do that anymore. Or you can say, okay, this is something I really want to go after. Let me figure out what it is that I need to do to make that happen. right? And so setting goals for yourself also is a way to kind of give you some motivation for the future, right? It is a way to get yourself inspired and start to think about what does my life look like beyond this divorce and beyond this thing that has me so bogged down, right? And then finally, seek out community. You're going to need people in your corner and around you in general, right? You're going to need your friends, you're going to need your family, but you're also going to need other women who are in the same or similar place as you, as well as women who have been where you are and are doing positive things with their life afterwards, right? You need that motivation and you need that encouragement from other women. And so I encourage you to find that place. Who are those women who you need to have as part of your life and who you want to be standing beside you as you navigate these things? And so that is also why I created the Peace and Power Facebook group, which is linked in the comments as well. So you can click in the comments for the Facebook group as well, because that is where the goal is for women to come together, support one another, talk about the very real issues that come with divorce and the very real financial challenges that come with divorce in a safe space. And that is also where I will have some free events and resources just like this, where, we will teach and learn about different aspects of, the financial journey after divorce. So I hope that you guys will consider joining there as well. And that is it, guys. I am so excited to have had the opportunity to bring this lesson on today. And I'm so thankful that you were able to tune in and watch. Please put any comments or questions that you have down in the comment section. I will come back and answer those. And so just thank you so much for your time. Whenever and wherever you're watching this from, thank you for taking a look. I hope to see you in the Facebook group, and I hope you download your free copy of the Money To-Do List so you can start taking charge of your finances. Thanks. Bye.